Hello! Pete's Pax here, and we're back with our fourth Commander deck from the Doctor Who Universes Beyond Commander decks. This is Bant Blast from the Past, also as white, blue, green. So let's get into this and see what's in it. So from the front of the oh geez, of the box, it says it contains 8 Doctors. So guessing that would be the first 8 Doctors. So from the pre-reboot seasons. From what I understand, many of the original episodes of the show were lost. Okay. This is Blast from the Past. Inside the envelope, we have our Collector's Booster Sample Pack, which we will open those in their own video, and the Plane Chase cards, which we will open at the end of this video. As with the other ones, we have 10 counters and 3 tokens that are punch-out tokens. Then a themed tuck box. This one seems to have been damaged slightly. We fold that up. We'll be putting our deck in that. We have an insert, the deck itself, and a little spacer with a Plane Chase die. It's supposed to be blue and yellow. The yellow doesn't really come through that well, but it is nice to have more Plane Chase die. So, alright. But with the others, toss the insert in the recycling, and we'll see what's in this. So, the included insert page, we have an explanation of the deck. This is Blast from the Past. Overview of the rules for Commander. Overview of the rules for Plane Chase. Then on the back side, we have the 4th Doctor, little blurb about them. And then Sarah Jane Smith, which I believe is the companion for the 4th Doctor. And then we have a breakdown of the different colors and an explanation of why the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith are green, white, blue aligned. So, very nice. So, now that we have those done. Oh, there should also be a life counter. Hold on, did I miss that? There should have been a life counter in here, but apparently there's not. Oh well, I guess I got a mispacked one, because there was no life counter in here. I didn't drop it, did I? No? Oh well, that's fine. So let's come in a bit, zoom in a little, and go over Blast from the Past. It's opened. At the front, we have the edged foil 4th Doctor, which is, of course, thicker than normal. Put that off to the side. Then we have the regular foil for the 4th Doctor. Let's change the white balance a bit. There we go. Alright, so the 4th Doctor, 2 green and a blue for 4/4 legendary creature Time Lord Doctor. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. has the ability, would you like a... Once each turn, you may play a historic land or cast a historic spell from the top of your library. When you do, create a food token. Nice. We have Sarah Jane Smith, 1 in a blue for... Or, 1 in a blue. 1 in a white for a 2/1 legendary creature, human detective. Whenever you cast a historic spell, investigate. This ability only triggers once each turn. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. To investigate, create a clue token. It's an artifact with 2. Sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. And it has Doctor's Companion. You can have 2 commanders if the other is the Doctor. Nice. That is lovely foil. Alright, then we have Romana II. 3 in a white for 3/3 legendary Time Lord Scientist with Vigilance. 1 tap, create a tap token that's a copy of target token that entered the battlefield this turn. Doctor's Companion. Joe Grant. Love that motorcycle. 2 in a white for a 3/2 legendary creature, Human Soldier. Each historic card in your hand has cycling 2 in a white. That's pretty cool. So pay 2 in a white, discard this card, draw a card. Whenever you cycle a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Joe Grant. Doctor's Companion. That's pretty sweet. Tegan Jovanka. 2 in a white for a 2/2 legendary creature, Human. Braveheart. Whenever you attack, target attacking historic creature gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Doctor's Companion. You could also see Joe Grant being really good with, like, not Fluctuate. Is it Fluctuator? It's an artifact that makes cycling cost 2 less. Yeah, pretty sure it's Fluctuator. Barbara Wright. 1 in a white for a 1/3 legendary creature, Human Advisor. History Teacher. Sagas you control have read ahead. Ooh, that's cool. Imagine all the sagas that you want read ahead on. That's really cool. And then Doctor's Companion. So read ahead lets you choose what chapter a saga starts at. We have Ian Chesterton, 2 in a white for a 2/3 legendary Human Scientist. Science Teacher. Each saga spell you cast has Replicate. The Replicate cost is equal to its mana cost. When you cast that saga, copy it for each time you pay its Replicate cost. Copies of permanents enter the battlefield as tokens. That's pretty cool. And then Doctor's Companion. Might have to explore some sagas to play with these. Harry Brown, 3 in a white for a 2/3 legendary Human. The first historic spell you cast each turn has Convoke. Your creatures can help cast it. Each creature you tap while casting it pays for a colorless or 1 mana of that creature's color. Doctor's Companion. Crisis of Conscience. 4 white, sorcery. Choose 1, destroy all tokens, or destroy all non-land, non-token permanents. That's pretty sweet. It does. This is one of the few board wipes that also clears Planeswalkers, which is pretty neat. The Caves of Androzani. 3 in a white for a 4-chapter saga. Chapter 1 is put 2 stun counters on each of up to 2 target tapped creatures. Chapters 2 and 3 are for each non-saga permanent, choose a counter on it. You may put an additional counter of that kind on that permanent. And Chapter 4 is search the library for a Doctor card, reveal it, and then put it into your hand, then shuffle. War Games. It is a 4-chapter saga for 2 white. Chapter 1, each player creates 3 tapped 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. Those tokens are goaded for as long as the War Games remains on the battlefield. Chapters 2 and 3 are put a +1/+1 counter on each warrior creature. Okay. And then Chapter 4 is you may exile all non-token creature... Oh, you may exile a non-token creature you control. When you do, exile all warriors. Oh. I don't know how I feel about that. Trial of a Time Lord. 1 white. For a 4-chapter saga. Chapters 1, 2, and 3 are exile target non-token creature and opponent controls until Trial of a Time Lord leaves the battlefield. In Chapter 4, starting with you, each player votes for innocent or guilty. If guilty gets more votes, the owner of each card exiled with Trial of a Time Lord puts that card on the bottom of their library. Okay. So if it's tied or if innocent, wait, hold on. Starting with you, each player votes for innocent or guilty. If guilty gets more votes, the owner of each card exiled with is on the bottom of their library. So I guess they just come back if it's tied or innocent is more. That's the thing. The Night of the Doctor. It is a 2-chapter saga for 4 white. Chapter 1, destroy all creatures. Chapter 2, return target legendary creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put your choice of a first strike, vigilance, or lifelink counter on it. That's pretty cool. Alright. Traverse Eternity. 2 blue sorcery. Draw cards equal to the highest mana value among historic permanents you control. Good draw engine there. K9 Mark 1. Oh, I love K9. One of my favorite characters from the earlier Doctor Who episodes. But for a blue, you get a 1/1 legendary artifact creature robot dog. Negative, as long as K9 is untapped, other legendary creatures you control have Ward 1. That's pretty cool. Affirmative, 1 and a blue, tap, target legendary creature can't be blocked this turn. Doctor's Companion. You could see this seeing some competitive play. Adric, Mathematical Genius. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 legendary creature, Human Artificer. 2 and a blue, tap, copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Ultimate Sacrifice, 1 and a blue, sacrifice Adric. Counter target activated or triggered ability, Doctor's Companion. Oh, neat little utility creature there. Nissa of Traken, or Nysa of Traken. I'm not sure which one it's supposed to be. 3 and a blue for a 3/4 legendary human scientist. You have no maximum hand size. Sonic Booster. Whenever this attacks, sacrifice X artifacts. When you sacrifice 1 or more artifacts this way, tap up to X target creatures and you draw X cards. Doctor's Companion. Pretty sweet. Reverse the Polarity. 1 blue, instant, choose 1. Counter all other spells. Switch each creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Creatures can't be blocked this turn. That might see play in Legacy. Huh. I could see this as an alternative to Flusterstorm in some decks. Although Flusterstorm is much more efficient. It's really neat. "500-Year Diary." 3 and a blue, legendary artifact clue. 500-Year Diary enters the battlefield tapped. Tap for a blue for each, or tap add a blue for each clue you control. 2, sacrifice 500-Year Diary, draw a card. Keep in mind that doesn't require a tap. That's pretty cool. Actually, I don't think regular clues do either, now that I think about it. So that would actually be really useful with a number of things. I have to do some brewing around that at some point. An Unearthly Child. 1 blue for a 3-chapter saga. All 3 chapters are reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a Doctor card. A card with Doctor's Companion or a vehicle card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Nice. Leela. Sevateam Warrior? Sevateam Warrior. 3 and a green for a 3/3 legendary creature, Human Warrior. Whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw on each of their draw steps, put a +1/+1 counter on Leela. Doctor's Companion. Neat. Ace, Fearless Rebel. 3 and a green for a 2/2 legendary Human Rebel. Nitro 9. Whenever this attacks, you may sacrifice an artifact. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then it fights up to one target creature defending player controls. Doctor's Companion. Nice. Susan Foreman. 1 and a green for a 1/1 legendary Time Lord. If you would Planeswalk, instead look at the top 2 cards of your planar deck. Put one on the bottom of your planar deck and the other on top, then Planeswalk. Tap for a green, Doctor's Companion. It's pretty sweet. Specifically if you're playing Plane Chase. Plane Chase? It is Plane Chase. I always want to call it Planescape. And I mix up if it's Plane Chase or Planescape. The 5 Doctors. 5 and a green, sorcery, kicker 5. Search your library and or graveyard for up to 5 Doctor cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. If the spell was kicked, put those cards onto the battlefield instead of putting them into your hand. Whoa. I think this might have an infinite combo with some shapeshifters that have been printed. Or cards with changelings, specifically. We'll have to do some digging to see if there's changeling characters that could go infinite with. Jamie McCrimmon. 2 and a green for 2/2 legendary Human Warrior. Trample. Whenever you cast a historic spell, this gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is that spell's mana value. Doctor's Companion. Nice. The Sea Devils. 2 and a green for a 3-chapter saga. Chapters 1 and 2 are create a 2/2 green alien salamander creature token with Island Walk. Chapter 3 is until end of turn, whenever a salamander deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to target creature that player controls. Alright. City of Death, a 6-chapter saga for 2 and a green. Chapter 1 is create a treasure token. Chapters 2 through 6 are create a token that's a copy of target non-saga token you control. Okay. That's neat. Gallifrey Stance, 4 white-blue for a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, return all Doctor cards from your graveyard to your hand. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a Doctor creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Then if you control 13 or more Doctors, you win the game. That's cool. That's the kind of alternate win condition I like. Huh. Keep in mind, that basically says if you have 13 shapeshifters in play, you win. Alistair, the Brigadier. 1 green, white, blue for 3/3 legendary human soldier. Whenever you cast a historic spell, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Whenever Alistair attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of historic permanents you control. Nice. This can also be an alternate commander for this deck. The First Doctor. 1 white-blue for a 2/2 legendary Time Lord Doctor. This enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a card named TARDIS, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Whenever you cast a spell with Cascade, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature. Nice. The Second Doctor. 2 white-blue for 2/4 legendary Time Lord Doctor. Players have no maximum hand size. How civil of you. At the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can't attack you or permanents you control during their next turn. Nice. The 5th Doctor. Kind of skipping around there, aren't we? The 5th Doctor. 2 white-blue for 2/2 legendary creature Time Lord Doctor. Peaceful Coexistence. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control that didn't attack or enter the battlefield this turn. Untap those creatures. That could do some really neat stuff with things that like to pass around counters. Also, just Agatha's Soul Cauldron plus that could be really cool. The 3rd Doctor. 2 green-blue for 2/2 legendary Time Lord Doctor. Trample. The 3rd Doctor gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token you control. When the 3rd Doctor enters the battlefield, create your choice of a clue token, a food token, or a treasure token. Also, I could see Academy Manufacturer going in this deck. Pretty sure that's the name of it. It's the 3-drop that makes you make a clue, food, or... whenever you make a clue, food, or treasure, you create all 3. The 6th Doctor. 4 green-blue for 3/3 legendary Time Lord Doctor. Time Lord's Prerogative. Whenever you cast a historic spell, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. This ability triggers only once each turn. Pretty sweet. The 7th Doctor. 3 white-blue for 3/6 legendary Time Lord Doctor. Whenever this attacks, choose a card in your hand. Defending player guesses whether that card's mana value is greater than the number of artifacts you control. If they guessed wrong, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast a spell this way, investigate. Okay, so you're always going to at least investigate. So that's good. The 8th Doctor. 4 white-blue for 4/4 legendary Time Lord Doctor. When the 8th Doctor enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Once during each of your turns, you may play a historic land or cast a historic permanent spell from your graveyard. If you do, it gains, if this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Okay. Reston, Menoptera Leader. X green-green-white for 0/0 legendary alien insect scout with flying. It enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. And when it enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 green and white alien insect creature tokens with flying. Whenever you attack with 1 or more insects, put a +1/+1 counter on each of them. I could see this being a commander just for insect tribal. That'd be pretty cool. Sergeant John Benton. 1 green-white for 2/4 legendary human soldier. Trample, haste, share intelligence. Whenever this deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. Huh. Could be really useful for political games. The Curse of Fenric. It's a 3-chapter saga for 2 white-green. Chapter 1. For each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. For each creature destroyed this way, that controller creates a 3/3 green mutant creature token with Death Touch. Chapter 2. Target non-token creature becomes a 6/6 legendary horror creature named Fenric and loses all abilities. Chapter 3. Target mutant fights another target creature named Fenric. Okay. It's an odd one. Be really useful for shutting down problematic cards, and actually you could shut down commanders with that, with the second chapter. Dugan, Private Detective, 2 green blue for an XX legendary human detective. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever Dugan enters the battlefield or attacks, investigate. The most important punch in history. 1 in a green, tap. Dugan deals damage equal to twice its power to target. Hold on. 1 in a green, tap. Dugan deals damage equal to twice its power to another target creature. Activate only once. So you get 1 shot with that. Interesting. I guess you'll have to mark it if you do that. Bessie, the Doctor's Roadster. It's a 2-mana legendary artifact vehicle. That's a 3/4 with haste. Whenever Bessie attacks, another target legendary creature can't be blocked this turn. Crew 2. That could be fun. I could also just see this being played in more aggressive decks. Ace's Baseball Bat. It's a 2-mana legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0. As long as equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked by a Dalek if able. Equip legendary creature 1, equip 3. Be pretty cool. Gallifrey Council Chamber, legendary land. Enters the battlefield, surveil 1. Tap for a colorless. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this only to cast a Time Lord or alien spell, or activate an ability of a Time Lord or alien. Pretty nice. Day of Destiny. Pretty sure this is a reprint from Champions of Kamigawa. 3 and a white, legendary enchantment. Legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. Heroic Intervention. This is a much-needed reprint, even though it has been reprinted several times. This card is played enough in both Commander and Modern and Pioneer that it still warranted a reprint. But Heroic Intervention, 1 in a green, instant. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Nice. Hey, Time Wipe. This is one of my favorite wrath effects. But 2 white and a blue, sorcery. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. Hero's Podium, 5 mana legendary artifact. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other legendary creature you control. Okay, so this is Joda on an artifact. X tap, look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Nice. That could definitely be fun. Trenzalore Clock Tower, legendary land. Tap for a blue, put a time counter on Trenzalore Clock Tower. 1 in a blue, tap, remove 12 time counters from Trenzalore Clock Tower and exile it. Shuffle your graveyard and hand into your library, then draw 7 cards. Activate only if you control a Time Lord. Nice. It's almost... it's very similar to the Clock Tower from Throne of Eldraine. Midnight Clock, rather. The Midnight Clock from Throne of Eldraine. Except it's a land, which makes it a little harder to deal with. Twice Upon a Time. 4 blue, sorcery. Cast a spell only if you control 2 or more doctors. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile Twice Upon a Time. And then it has an adventure mode of Unlikely Meeting. 2 in a blue, sorcery, adventure. Search your library for a doctor card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle. Port Town. Oh, that is a beautiful version of that. Love the ships on there. But enters the battlefield tapped unless you reveal a plains or island from your hand. If you don't, comes into play tapped. Taps for a white or a blue. Exotic Orchard taps for any color your opponent's lands could produce. Temple of Enlightenment. It's the blue-white temple. Enters tapped. When it enters, you scry 1, and then taps for blue or white. Fortified village, same as Port Town, except green and white. Prairie Stream, it is a fetchable dual that enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. This is often called a Tango land. Canopy Vista, the same thing, but a forest plains. Sungrass Prairie, filters a colorless into green-white. Temple of Plenty, enters tapped, and when it enters, scry 1, tap for green or white. Irrigated Farmland, it's the cycling vegetable dual. Enters tapped, cycles for 2, and is both a plains and an island. Temple of Mystery, it's the green-blue temple. Vine Glimmer Snarl, it's the blue-green snarl. When it enters, you may reveal a forest or island from your hand. If you don't, it enters tapped. It's the second half of the cycle that Port Town and Canopy Vista are in. Scattered Groves. This is the Forest Plains cycling duel. Celestial Colonnade. Oh, I'm so glad they reprinted this. Comes into play taps for a white or a blue, and then for 3 white-blue, until end of turn, it becomes a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature token with flying and vigilance. It's still a land. This is one of the best man lands ever printed. Just absolutely fantastic. It's a great way to finish out games. Deserted Beach. This is actually currently standard legal. So, enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands, and then taps for white-blue. Glacial Fortress, enters tapped unless you control a plains or an island, taps for white or blue. Horizon Canopy, this is the original of the Horizon lands. It was actually originally printed in Future Sight, and we still don't have a complete cycle of this. There's 6 of them in total, if I remember correctly. So we still need the other 4. Overgrown Farmland. This is also standard legal, and it's the same as Deserted Beach. Enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands, and then taps for 2 colors. Waterlogged Grove is the green-blue Horizon land. It's exactly the same as Horizon Canopy, except produces green and blue. Grimroot Cascade, also standard legal. It's the same as Overgrown Farmland and Deserted Beach. Sky Cloud Expanse filters a colorless into white-blue. Vanish to Another Universe. 4 and a white enchantment. Affinity for historic permanents. The spell costs 1 less for each artifact, legendary, and/or saga permanent you control. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Banished to Another Universe leaves the battlefield. That's pretty cool. Time Lord Regeneration. For blue, you get an instant. Until end of turn, target Time Lord you control gains whenever this creature dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a Time Lord creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That is cool. Very flavorful, too. Displaced Dinosaurs. 5 green for a 7/7 dinosaur. As a historic permanent enters the battlefield under your control, it becomes a 7/7 dinosaur creature in addition to its other types. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. Oh, that's fantastic. And it has a great flavor text, too, which is, "Good grief, it's a Stegosaurus. What a splendid specimen. The Third Doctor." Sonic Screwdriver. 3 mana artifact, taps for 1 mana of any color. 1 and tap, untap another target artifact. 2 and tap, scry 1. 3 and tap, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Very nice. We have TARDIS. 2 mana, 2/4 artifact vehicle with flying. Whenever it attacks, if you control a Time Lord, the next spell you cast this turn has Cascade, and you may Planeswalk. Crew 2. Very nice. Swords to Plowshares, one of the best pieces of removal ever printed. For a white, you get an instant. Exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. Path to Exile, possibly the second best piece of removal ever printed. For a white, you get an instant. Exile target creature, its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Return to Dust. 2 white, instant. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If you cast a spell during your main phase, you may exile up to one other target artifact or enchantment. I really wish they had downshifted this to common, because there is a card from Legends that does something very similar to this. That was a common. It just exiles 2 artifacts or enchantments. I think it's Dust to Dust, and it's up at like $15 right now. Last I checked. All right, we have Explore. 1 and a green sorcery. You may play an additional land this turn. Draw a card. Nice. 3 Visits. It's also nice that this is getting a reprint. So this was originally in a alternate version of Nature's Lore, and it was the version that was printed for Portal 3 Kingdoms. For a while, this was rather expensive, but I think it's been reprinted enough that it's not as expensive. And it was mainly due to scarcity because Portal 3 Kingdoms. 3 Visits, 1 and a green, sorcery. Search your library for a forest card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Keep in mind this does grab duels also. Arcane Signet, 2 mana artifact, taps for your commander's color identity. Soul Ring, we all know what Soul Ring is by now, but 1 mana artifact, taps for 2. Talisman of Unity, it's the green-white talisman. Taps for a 2 mana artifact that taps for a colorless, and then taps for a green or a white and deals 1 damage to you. Hero's Blade, 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+2. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach Hero's Blade to it. Equip 4. I think this is a reprint. Talisman of Progress, it is the white-blue talisman. Thought Vessel, 2 mana artifact, you have no maximum hand size, tap for a colorless. Mind Stone, 2 mana artifact, tap for a colorless, 1 tap and sacrifice it, draw a card. Thriving Isle, oh, that is pretty. Love the art on that. Enters the battlefield tapped. As it enters the battlefield, choose a color other than blue. Tap, add blue or 1 mana of the chosen color. And I'm not sure if this is newly a common, but I'm happy that this is a common. Thriving Grove, same thing but for green. Thriving Heath, same thing but for white. Ash Barrens. I'm really glad that they've started reprinting Ash Barrens in most commander decks, because it is a pauper staple. But taps for colorless and has basic land cycling 1. So you can pay 1, discard this card, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Seaside Citadel. Enters tapped, taps for green, white, blue. Command Tower, taps for your commander's color identity. And that's the inside of the TARDIS. Path of Ancestry. Enters the battlefield tapped, taps for your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Alright, now we have our basics. So we have 2 plains. Love that version of it. We have 2 islands. And then we have 1, 2, 3 forests. Nice. Now we have some tokens. So we have a food token. That looks like a jujube. I'm not sure if that's what... I know one of the... I think it was the 4th commander. Or not commander. The 4th doctor had this thing with a candy, and I can't remember what kind of candy it was supposed to be, because it's been so long since I've seen any of the episodes with him, but that's what that's supposed to be. I think it was the 4th doctor. Then warrior token, or 1/1 warrior token on the back. We have a treasure token. That's just pretty great. another warrior token on the back. Clue token with a human rogue on the back. It's a 2/2 human rogue. Copy token with a 1/1 soldier token on the back. He looks like he means business. We have a 3/3 Death Touch Mutant token. The soldier on the back. Another 3/3 Death Touch Mutant with an alien insect with, or 1/1 alien insect with flying on the back. We have a 1/1 flying alien insect that is an alien salamander with island walk on the back. We have a 3/3 Death Touch Mutant with alien, a 2/2 alien salamander with island walk on the back. A 1/1 soldier, a 3/3 Death Touch Mutant on the back. Another 1/1 soldier with a copy token on the back. Turn order reminder with standard or with popular formats on the back. And then a double-sided Learn to Play Magic Doctor Who card. Which this side has a misprint. Has a slight layer shift on this side that it doesn't have on this. That's funny. Alright. Now, let's switch over to the Plane Chase cards and see what we get in that. So each one of these decks has a unique set of Plane Chase cards. It's in its own separate pack. All right. The Pyramid of Mars. Plane Mars. When you planeswalk to the Pyramid of Mars and at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 2. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. You may put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest on top of your library in any order. Chaos. Whenever chaos ensues, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh, that's fun. Caught in a Parallel Universe. This is a phenomenal. Whenever you encounter Caught in a Parallel Universe, each player chooses a creature controlled by the player to their left. Each player creates a token that's a copy of the creature they choose, except it has Menace. That's neat. Gardens of Tranquil Repose. Plane Necros. Suspended animation. Whenever a creature dies, exile it. Its controller scries 1. Chaos. Whenever chaos ensues, create X 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature tokens with Menace, where X is 1 plus the number of cards exiled with Gardens of Tranquil Repose. Ooh. That's cool. Spectrox Mines. Whenever Plane Androzani Minor. When you planeswalk to Spectrox Mines, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 3 life and create a treasure token. Whenever chaos ensues, create a food token and a 2/2 black human rogue creature token. Coal Hill School. Plane Earth. Whenever a player casts a historic spell, that player draws a card. Chaos. Whenever chaos ensues, return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Nice. Unit Headquarters. Plane Earth. When you planeswalk to Unit Headquarters, and at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Whenever chaos ensues, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Nice. Let's see. The Cheetah Planet. Plane Outside Mutter's Spiral. When you planeswalk to the Cheetah Planet, at the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target non-cat creature you control. It becomes a cat in addition to its other types. Chaos. Whenever chaos ensues, all cats gain Provoke until end of turn. Whenever a cat attacks, its controller may have target creature defending player controls untap and block it if able. Antarctic Research Base. Plane Earth. When you planeswalk to Antarctic Research Base and at the beginning of your upkeep, investigate. Chaos. Whenever chaos ensues, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of artifacts you control. It becomes a plant in addition to its other types. Nice. The Cave of Skulls. That seems like something that would be out of 40k. Plain Earth. Each creature card in your graveyard has Scavenge. The Scavenge cost is equal to its mana cost. Exile a creature card from your graveyard and pay its mana cost. Put a +1/+1, or put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to that card's power on target creature. Scavenge only as a sorcery. Ooh, that with things like super undercosted stuff, like Phyrexian Dreadnought, would be kind of neat with this. Chaos. Whenever chaos ensues, create 2 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. Nice. Tardis Bay. Plain Gallifrey. The first spell you cast during each of your turns with mana value 2 or greater has Cascade. When you cast that spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards on the bottom in a random order. Chaos. Whenever chaos ensues, you gain control of target artifact, then planeswalk. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure through the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff of Doctor Who. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. And until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.